This is Geek Revolution Radio,
a show for geeks by geeks. Hello and welcome to another edition of Geek Revolution Radio. I am your host, Ryan Bennett, and with me, as always, Mr. Will Hatton.
Very excited to be here. This is a fun episode.
I'm very excited. Today, we're going to talk about the upcoming movies, kind of in our first little trimester, first little stretch of 2016.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, I think we're going to do 4 parts just like this. We're going to have, basically breaking up, every 3 months, we're going to cover each movie coming out in that period. So we don't have to do like a whole 6-month or 12-month. I mean, that would be kind of a long show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also excited because I'm going to be on the other Mike and Mike show. I think we're recording just in a couple of days here, and we're going to be doing an episode on the very topic we did last week. We're going to do Making a Murderer.
Awesome.
That should be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to kind of hearing a different side of what they theorize may or may not have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to hear other perspective. I mean, I was listening to their show the other day. Those guys are actually kind of funny.
they're so funny.
They've always Mike has always been kind of edgy in my mind. Like he says some like off the wall stuff, but it's also very funny. So.
Mike W.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the episode they did last week. My favorite part of the episode they did last week, which was they recorded it right before Martin Luther King Day, and they got into this borderline racist rant talking about white movies matter. And I pointed this out online, but it felt like Michael W. was trying his hardest to get Mike T to say something racist. He kept baiting him, kept trying to draw him into it. And Mike T he kept correcting himself.
He just kept straight.
And he didn't go for it.
Yeah, I did notice that. He's like, yeah, you're putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was awesome. It was a really good segment. We really like those guys over there. If you're not listening to the other Mike and Mike show, you're really missing out. So check that out. They also do another show if you're into MMA or really just good interviews called Knights of the Octagon. You can go to kotomma.com or theothermikes.com to check out their show. Now, Will, I understand you've got a show that you've been listening to lately as well.
Yeah, so my cousins, Arthur and Thomas Hatton, just started up a new blog and podcast. They did their very first episode this last week. Covers prog music or progressive music. I've never been like a big fan of progressive. Like I don't know a whole lot about it, but these guys are like really funny and entertaining in my mind. Like I've grown up with these guys. They're like just funny dudes. And
I like it.
Just like regardless, like I listen to it and I'll probably keep listening to their shows even though I'm not into progressive music. Just because like they're funny to me. My cousins are probably some of the funniest guys I know.
That's funny because usually, every podcast tends to have a little bit of a niche, and ours is ours I would say is kind of the geek thing, right? And it's interesting to hear that somebody's like, oh, what's the most niche part of music? Progressive music? Let's do a podcast about just specifically progressive music.
Yeah, so you can check them out at Proglodytes. That's the name of their podcast and blog. That's PROGLODYTES.com.
Cool.
Yeah, they're pretty funny dudes. Definitely worth checking out.
So from what I understand I just learned about this from listening to the other Mike and Mike show, but it sounds like we might be putting together a little bit of a podcast network. We had a podcast network back in the day called Bobo Broadcasting that kind of fizzled out, and it sounds like they're looking at kind of getting together a new one called the Bat Squad, which I think is a really cool name. First of all, so I think
it sounds super cool.
If your cousins decide to keep doing the show, we might have to reach out to them and see if they're interested. And of course, if anybody listening to the show, I know we have other podcasters that listen to our show. If you guys are interested in kind of getting on a podcasting network and sharing ideas and promoting, trying to share our audiences a little bit and kind of let people know what's going on out there.
I think that's the thing about podcasting is you can try to run it solo, but you won't find a lot of success. You got to network, you got to branch out, make friends.
A lot of our listeners are people that, found out about us through, Mike W's various podcasts or the Bobo Broadcasting Network. Honestly, that was, when we started doing this show, we kind of reached a benchmark where the show was, we had a certain amount of listeners, and that was kind of that, which was fine. But then once we started getting into the Boba Broadcasting thing, we saw definitely another kind of big push in that listenership, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. So let's get into the topic for today's show.
There's probably like 3 or 4 films that are going to be well covered. I'd say the majority of them are just going to be dusted over because some of them just aren't. Like we're covering, I would say, the majority of nationwide distribution, not like the indie movies or anything like that. We're covering like the most notable movies that people know about, and so like 3 or 4 of them are worth note. I wanted to go right in though and kind of break down how I rate my interest in seeing a movie.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Because it's like I don't know, like I my time and money, now that I'm a family man, are really really important.
A little bit more choosy about the movies we see in the theater, for example, than we used to be.
I remember the summer before we had Hazel, I was like at every movie. Like
we talked about it on this show. Like every movie that came out that summer, we had an episode about it.
Yeah, and so now I'm looking at things. I'm looking at the next 3 months. So that's how this is going to break down. We're covering until the end of March. I'm looking at the movies that are coming out until then and thinking, what can I afford getting a babysitter or doing what I can to go see this movie. And I'd say there's like 3 or 4 that I'm probably going to make a good effort to go see.
I like the rating system.
That's like one and a half over the next like a month. So that's not too bad. But my rating system's this. So like I say the top of the list is I want to see it in theaters. Like I'm going, there's no hesitation.
Probably opening night.
Batman versus
Batman
versus Superman is one of those at the very top of the like in theater. And then I'd say the next tier down would be Redbox. I think that's
you're gonna wait for it to come out and either buy it or go grab it on the Redbox.
Or go get it on Redbox because
not worth your $50 or so to go see in the theater, but definitely worth your $1.50, I think it is at Redbox.
Yeah. I mean $1.50, $2. I would say the next tier is HBO/Netflix. I mean, a lot of times
you're going to wait for it to come around
first, then Netflix.
It's kind of one of those things where, like, what you're saying is if it flies onto your radar or somewhere where you can see it, you'll probably watch it.
Yeah. I'll make a like it's. I would say that's kind of in the middle. I think the next tier is just generally on television. Like if I'm like flipping through the channels and I'm like, oh yeah, this is on TV, maybe I'll watch it.
If it's Saturday and you don't have anything going on, you're like,
right.
Okay.
When I'm bored, that'll be that. And the last 2 categories I would say is just no interest and no time. Like I don't hate it. I'm not opposed to it. I have no interest. And then the very last is like I absolutely don't want to see it.
Like you're gonna intentionally go out of your way not to see it.
Yeah. If it's on TV, I'm like throwing the controller at the TV or something.
Writing notes to the networks.
This is garbage.
Sending off mad tweets.
Yeah.
Could have been watching Property Brothers, and we're watching this. Come on.
Yeah. So I think we should go in chronological order. First, coming up, actually, as we release this episode, all the movies that are coming out this weekend. There's 2 of them that are, I would say, notable, but neither one of them I'm very interested in. Like one of them, like the first one is Fifth Wave. This has Hit Girl in it, and we all know Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah. I like her as Hit Girl.
I like her. I like her a lot.
I haven't warmed up to her though. Playing, I haven't warmed up to her as an adult, I should say.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Other actors in this film: Ron Livingston, Liev Schreiber. But the thing about it is, this is another blah teenage post-apocalyptic film. I just like it's basically another film that's coming out tailored towards teenagers. I think it's trying to take the place of Hunger Games maybe a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
I haven't even heard of it, so I couldn't even tell
Really?
you. I'm kind of reading the synopsis of it though, and I'm kind of with you. It feels a little overdone and somewhat unoriginal at this point, right? I mean,
oh yeah, no, this is a book that's based off of a book written in 2013.
yeah,
and it's just a teenage novel, a teenage young adult story. And I honestly, I'm sick of them. I want something with more substance. I want grit. Like if they're going to do a post-apocalyptic movie, I don't want the teenage love affair drama. Like, and you're getting a lot of that with these kind of movies.
I think if we were gonna, going off your rating system, I'm probably at about an Netflix. If it flies on Netflix and it has a high rating on Netflix, I might watch it.
Yeah, I think if it has a decent return from fans, like if it's like a 3-star or above, I might watch it on Netflix. Otherwise, if it's on TV and I'm got nothing going on, I mean, there's been other movies like this. The Maze Runner was on TV once, and I watched it. It reminded me a lot of that one. And Maze Runner wasn't so bad. After watching it, I liked it. I was actually impressed with Maze Runner, but just I don't know. This one definitely doesn't have my worth in money. Like I'm not going to go spend money on this one.
Okay. All right. What's our next one? What's our next movie we got here?
So we got Dirty Grandpa also coming out this weekend, and this is just disgusting.
Not to be confused with Bad Grandpa. Is this a Jackass thing, or is this?
No, this is Dirty Grandpas with Robert De Niro and Zac Efron. Basically, it's like Robert De Niro as if he was, going to Cancun or something like that. It's just this old man like flirting with like 20-year-old women, and it absolutely doesn't look good. Like there's nothing redeemable about it. I have no interest in seeing it.
The thing about it is, I've liked Dave Franco and Zac Efron for me. I've kind of liked the movies that they do, and maybe I pair those two together because of Neighbors, but
Neighbors was awesome. I liked Neighbors.
I saw, I like pretty much. I've liked more of their movies than I thought I would. Let's say that.
Yeah, Robert De Niro is a major name, but like just watching the previews for this movie, because it's on TV now. You're seeing a lot more national advertisement. I'm just not interested at all.
De Niro kind of lost me after about the second Fockers movie that he did.
Oh yeah,
I was just kind of like, I guess this is what he's doing now, and he went from being kind of this big actor, and he had some prowess, and he did gangster type movies, to kind of just being like, I guess he's a comedian. I don't really know now.
Well, this is a comedy, but I'm not laughing. So
all right, let's move on to the next one then. At that,
so at the end of the month, Kung Fu Panda comes out. Kung Fu Panda 3.
Oh, okay. So they've got 3 of these things now.
They have 3 now, and I'm just like, I was surprised when I heard that they've done a 3rd one, because I never remember even seeing the 2nd one.
Yeah, me either. I'm with you on that. I have a kid, and I don't think I've seen the 2nd one.
I'll admit I love Jack Black.
Yeah.
And I'm looking in the cast list for this movie, and there's like a bunch of cast members that I like. I mean,
but it's animated. So the thing about it is I don't particularly like the fact that all of these A-list actors are doing all the voices and all of the animated features, because for a couple of reasons. Primarily, it's taking the work away from people that are just voice actors for a living, that they don't have either the acting chops or the looks to be actually on screen, or they're just really, really good at doing voice acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's an easy paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, so that's for me where, like, a lot of it is. Yeah, when I see Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, Dustin Hoffman, even Bryan Cranston and David Cross and Seth Rogen in Kung Fu Panda 3, it doesn't do anything for me. As a matter of fact, a lot of times it detracts, because I'm watching the movie and I'm like, man, that giraffe is what's his name? So and so, yeah. So
I think it'll be okay. I think this is either a Redbox or HBO Netflix kind of thing. It's somewhere in between those two.
I think it's a Netflix for me.
Not gonna go see it in theaters. Like the previews don't look bad either. I mean, the preview looks pretty good, but that's just what it is,
Yeah, and I don't think we ever rated Dirty Grandpa. I think I probably put Dirty Grandpa probably on the Netflix one as well. It's kind of the same thing with Fifth Wave. I kind of feel the same. If it comes out and has decent reviews or looks interesting, I might catch it on Netflix. I
don't know about that, man. I give it no interest.
Yeah,
no time.
Other than that, it's probably a no interest for me too. You're right.
I mean, maybe if it's on TV and there's like nothing else on.
Yeah.
But most likely this one gets the boot.
All right, well, let's move on to that's your January, basically. That's the last week.
January.
Here.
I mean, we're about like 10 days left in January.
Yeah.
We got a general idea what's coming out.
Let's charge towards Valentine's Day, because this is when things start to get good.
Oh yeah, like the first 2 movies of February are about the same to me. They're both Redbox movies.
I don't agree with. So the first one here is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I put that one on an absolutely do not want to see. I'm going to go out of my way not to see it, because I'm tired of the gimmick. I'm tired of people making bad zombie movies just for the sake of zombies, and I'm tired of people remaking Pride and Prejudice.
I felt the same way. I went and watched the latest trailer, and it changed my mind. Like, the latest trailer for it actually makes it look pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's got Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, Cersei.
Oh yeah.
It's got Matt Smith in it from Doctor Who. It's got I guess the British actors.
Yeah, this is definitely a British movie, it sounds like.
I had heard initially that Natalie Portman was going to be cast as the lead, and that kind of excited me a little bit, but that fell through. So I don't know what happened there. But on second watching of the trailer, it looks entertaining. It looked like it has potential. So I don't know. I would say Redbox, maybe Netflix.
Okay. If you tell me it's good to watch, I'll watch it. How's that?
Yeah. Well, I felt the same way about what was it, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I was like, that looks so stupid, so stupid. Then when I went and watched it, I was like, this actually isn't that bad. I kind of feel like that might be the same case here. It's like taking these like timepiece movies and putting like a modern horror element to it, and it just kind of shakes it up a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like Hansel and Gretel did, right? I mean, and that had Jeremy Renner in it, and that was such a bad movie.
I honestly didn't even see that one.
Oh, don't bother.
Yeah, I won't.
All right, so what's the next one?
The second movie is Hail Caesar. This is one of those, like, it's got like 30 famous people in it. It's a Coen Brothers film, which is a redeemable factor. I like a lot of their films, but I hate seeing these like 20 celebrities in a movie type movie. It doesn't do it for me.
Unless they're superheroes, unless it's the Avengers.
Like, if it's just them, I mean, at least it's not one of these stupid like New Year's Eve movies. I mean, these. Oh
yeah, every holiday there's a movie. Yeah,
those are truly the worst. But this one actually looks like it could be pretty funny. I know my wife is pretty excited to see this one, so we might actually go see it in theaters. We might not. But it's definitely plays second to what comes out the next week, which is Deadpool.
I'm there. I'm so excited for Deadpool. I can't even tell you. The greatest thing ever is Sammy, my wife, said to me, "We should go see that on Valentine's Day," and I was like, "Boom, that's a done deal."
Dude, I'm already looking into Babysitters. This is a movie that I'm definitely going to go see.
I love that they're targeting Deadpool for Valentine's Day. They're like, well, we can release this movie sometime in the spring, and probably Ryan Reynolds or the writers of this movie were like, yeah, we should target Valentine's Day because it's it's really the opposite of it, but they can still market it like it's for Valentine's Day. I don't know if you've seen online they basically they're trying to sell it like it's a romantic comedy, which
like I love that. It's hysterical. I mean, that's the thing about this movie is I absolutely love everything about it. The fact that it was like in obscurity, that it wasn't even being considered for a film.
Yeah.
We look at Wolverine and we say, oh, Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, that was like a no-show. It wasn't that great. And so I feel
Fantastic
like
Four, dude. You're talking about, this is Fox that made this. They made Fantastic Four, which was I didn't ever even saw it, but it just nosedived. They can't even give away the DVDs at this point. To them turning around and saying, all right, the fans have spoken. And let's remember, Deadpool only happened because there was some footage they made for like a demo of what what one of the scenes would have been in the movie. And it somehow leaked to the public and it like blew up on YouTube. And Fox, executives were finally like, oh, I guess people want to see this movie. I don't know why it was ever a question in their mind that they should make this instead of another dang Fantastic Four movie. But
yeah, I mean, all you have to do is look at Comic-Con. Look at all the characters that are dressed up. You're gonna have, like, I say 1 out of 10 is Deadpool,
at least, if not more.
That's huge representation at like 100,000 people. You've got 10,000 Deadpools walking around.
No, I'm with you, dude, and I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And we had some reservations, I think, back. I don't remember if we talked about it on this show or not, but with Ryan Reynolds coming back as Deadpool, which he kind of mock played in one of the X-Men movies a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
he's the perfect. Once I saw the trailers for this, I'm like, oh yeah, like this. He's the guy. Like he's Deadpool. It's like makes as much sense as Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, in my opinion.
Well, and the thing about it is you see like the teasers, like there was like, I remember like him next to a fire, some like 30-second video of him talking in the Deadpool suit, and I'm like, yep, that's all I need. I'm gonna watch this movie.
I'm all in.
And the latest trailer, I can't stop watching it. I probably watch it once a week.
I do too, because it's on TV. At least I've already seen it once a night at this point.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying I go out of my way to like click the YouTube video.
Yeah. So for Deadpool, we're both there opening weekend. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I'm gonna go see it. Like I'm in the theater. Deadpool is gonna be a good film. I'm really excited about it.
So what other options do we have for Valentine's Day weekend?
Well, unfortunately, Zoolander 2 also comes out that weekend, which I am very excited about. When I heard that they were actually going to do the film, I got really excited about it because I thought like this is going to be a great movie because I love the first one. The first one's iconic to me. It's like Anchorman to me.
Absolutely.
Like I loved it that much.
Absolutely.
And so the unfortunate aspect of it is that it just comes out the same weekend as Deadpool. Like I can't go see them both. I'm gonna make a good effort to go see them both. Like see if we can drop Hazel off at grandma's for the day and go see 2 movies. Go
for the double feature at the Alamo Draft House or something.
Oh yeah, and so I might squeeze this one in, but it just happens to be on a weekend that there's another movie that's more pressing or more excited about.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think this is a movie I will eventually see, but it won't be on opening weekend. And honestly, I saw the trailers and I love what they're doing. I only have a little bit of reservations about this movie because of Justin Bieber.
I think it's a very, very limited cameo.
I hope so, because I was like, wow, I assume that he's only in the first part of the film, but I was like, that's bold to get a guy that's
I think you see in the trailer how much he's actually in the film, which is like maybe 5 seconds.
That'd be good. I
think it's him getting killed, which, hey, you could take solace in knowing that he gets killed in the movie.
Yeah, I just don't want to see him in my movies at all. It's not his not his wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Will Ferrell just looks brilliant as usual. I loved his Mugatu character from the first movie.
I'm so happy that he came back for Zoolander
2. If he didn't do the movie, I probably wouldn't be as excited. I mean, I like Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson. I like a lot of the people they got for the cast, but Will Ferrell sold me on the first movie.
You know what I wonder now that they're making a sequel to everything, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to cash in.
Where the heck is our sequel to Tropic Thunder, Ben Stiller?
Yeah, that need to be made. That was such a funny movie.
Oh, it's the best. It's literally the best, man. And you know all those guys would come back too.
Oh, yeah.
McConaughey and Tom Cruise and
yeah, I mean, I would say in theater, if not Redbox. It's like the second it comes out on Redbox, I'm probably gonna make an earnest effort to go see it.
Yeah, this is probably like when it drops on Redbox, I'll see it probably that week.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good. Zoolander 2's February 12th, and then we move to the next week. February is kind of a dry spell after that. Like I'd say there's a Sundance film coming out called The Witch, and I didn't really like when I started doing the show notes and preparing for the show, I saw this. I was like, well, there's something like I wanted to cover one movie a week at least. There was like nothing coming out on the 19th, and so I was like, well, what's The Witch about? So I looked it up, see that it's a Sundance winner, see that it actually looks really good. It's a horror movie. I mean, obviously about a witch. And this one looks really good. I probably, if I do see it, it's going to be alone. But
you and me both, man. I love horror films. I think we talked about this offline.
Yeah.
I love horror films. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a whole episode about our favorite horror films in the future, right? I mean,
yeah. It's 2 or 3 weeks from now. I think that'll be a really fun show.
The disadvantage we have is that neither of our wives like horror movies.
Yeah.
So
we're kind of on our own here. I mean, I remember watching was it Cabin in the Woods?
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon.
I love that movie. Had to watch it alone.
Yeah, I was going to that just because it was Joss Whedon, and great
movie.
Yeah,
no, definitely. So yeah, this movie it takes place in like the 1600s. It's kind of a timepiece about a family that goes off and living on their own. And I guess somebody's either becomes a witch or is possessed by a witch or something like that. It's very dark. It looks creepy.
Here's the thing. Not a lot of horror movies make it into Sundance because it's really hard to make a really good horror film. So it's good enough for Sundance. It's good enough for me. Don't know if I'll see it in the theater. Definitely see it on Redbox or Netflix.
Right. This is definitely a Netflix type movie. I mean, I'm excited to see it, but like because I'm seeing it alone, I'm not going to rent it. I'm not going to watch it in the theater.
That's the nice thing about the Sundance films too, is they usually come out on some VOD service like Netflix.
Yeah.
Not too long after the theater.
Yeah. So moving along in February, at the end of February on the 26th, we've got 2 movies. And one I'm really excited about, and one I have zero interest and don't want to see at all. The first one is Gods of Egypt. It looks like what was it, Clash of the Titans, like just a really bad CGI filled movie about a plot that I just really don't care about.
Clash of the Titans was horrible. It was so bad.
No good. And I love Gerard Butler. He's the star of this film. I mean, I guess he's sort of the star. I guess there's a couple no-name actors and actresses that are like the main characters, and Gerard Butler's like the bad guy or something. Like, I don't even care to figure out the plot because it looks so stupid. It has Jamie Lannister in it. What's his name? I honestly
don't even know. I do not have any idea how to pronounce his name. I just call him Jamie Lannister.
Jamie Lannister. Yeah, we'll just call him that. It's got Chadwick Boseman in it, who's the new Black Panther. I'm really excited about that movie, but that's later. That's not even in this year, I don't think. But yeah, this movie doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to see this movie.
Yeah, no interest, no time. Like, I don't even think I would watch it if it came on TV.
Yeah, I don't think I would either, actually.
And honestly, I'm sure like there might be a couple people out there like, I think it looks good. Like, well, I'm sorry, I'm offending your liking of garbage films.
Well, maybe you never know. I mean, this is our opinion. We haven't even seen the film. Maybe it'll come out and be like, man, it's an amazing film.
Oh man, I was so wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes word of mouth like that happens.
And that does happen. But I'm really tired of these like overly done CGI films that don't look good. I mean, like you look at Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That's a CGI film, but it's so well done that you can't tell that it's CGI. I mean, this movie though is just straight up CGI, like everything about it, the cities and everything. So I'm not excited about it.
I kind of stand with you on that, man. I mean, although, going back to the word of mouth thing, if it wasn't for word of mouth, we wouldn't have Napoleon Dynamite. And reading the synopsis for Napoleon Dynamite, you'd be like, heck no, I'm not.
This sounds stupid. Why am I going to watch this movie? Yeah,
ends up being one of the greatest films ever. I mean,
So the next movie, same weekend, is 999, which I honestly didn't know anything about this movie up until about 2 weeks ago. And I watched the trailer for it, and I'm just blown away. I'm a really big fan of Casey Affleck. When I first saw Gone Baby Gone, he is phenomenal in that movie, and that sold me. And this movie looks like it's just a straight up high octane crime thriller. I mean,
I'll tell you, I've seen the trailer for this movie, and I'll tell you why it hit me, why I'm probably going to go see it. The idea that Norman Reedus and Aaron Paul are going to do a movie together.
Yes.
That sounds to me like those are like they're my two favorite supporting character in a TV show. Like, I'm going to go.
Yeah, no, this is definitely, I'm going to make an earnest, good effort to go see this one in theaters. It might not be opening weekend. It might have to be like during the week or something, but this movie looks really good. I'm really excited about it. And I think I like this, going back to our show last week, like people like crime. It's just, I think it's part of our nature as humans to like the nitty, dark aspects of humanity. You know, and explore the psychology of crime. And I think this one kind of dives into that. I think it looks, you're looking at a film that looking at the good and bad in humanity, in law enforcement, you know, going back a little bit to last week's show, you know, crooked cops. It looks like there's some definitely lines crossed. And I think these type of movies really excite me. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, that pretty much rounds out February now, right? We're
we're like 2/3 of the way done, and like there's 2 or 3 movies that like I'm gonna make an earnest effort to go see in theaters. Obviously, Deadpool. We're gonna go see probably 999 and maybe Zoolander if I could squeeze it in.
Absolutely. So what do we got? What do we got in March? What's coming out?
March has a lot more to offer. Like we've got, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films that we're going to talk about. And
there's one of them on there I really want to talk about.
Oh yeah. I would say there's 2 movies that I'm going to go see, and the other 5 are either varying between Redbox and no interest. The first of them is London Has Fallen. Comes out March 4th.
Who's this one? Who's in this movie?
So this is a follow-up to White House, or Olympus Has Fallen. It's a sequel to that film with Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart's the president. Gerard Butler's that Secret Service guy.
I got you. I actually liked the first one. I really liked it.
I thought the first one was okay. I didn't love it, but I just thought it was okay. And because of that, this one doesn't seem all that bad to me. My problem with it is it I don't know, like this previous 4 don't sell me. And I think that's why I have a little bit of hesitation on this one.
Right. I can't believe Gerard Butler, man. That guy's staying busy. He has a movie in February and March. Wow.
Right. And
he's doing it.
Probably a couple more, you know.
Yeah. What's he got in April?
Yeah. So I mean, I look at it and I say, this is at least a Netflix. To me, I might Redbox it if it gets good reviews, if word of mouth is okay with it. But I'm not 100% sold on it. I'm like going back to that notion that like I'm only going to be able to go see so many movies in the theater. Like this one hasn't sold me enough to want to go see it. So that's
I think
unfortunate for them, but
yeah, for me, this is I'll probably catch this one on Redbox.
Yeah. I mean,
just because I like the first one.
I liked the first one, yeah, but I don't know about this one. The next one coming out that same weekend is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and I honestly don't know if this is going to get a really wide national distribution. I hope it comes to Lubbock. I'm sure it's going to go to Austin, but this one looks really funny to me. I'm a big Tina Fey fan, and I think because Tina Fey is in it, it's probably going to get a larger distribution. She basically plays a reporter that is kind of like in a dead-end job in the States, and she decides when an opportunity to go to Afghanistan comes up. This is like probably at the height of the Afghan war.
Oh, okay. I got you.
She's gonna throw it all away and go there and become a reporter out there. And it just looks like it's really funny. It's not like I don't know, not your typical comedy. It's a war comedy, I guess you would say. It has that journalistic aspect to it, so it's not like Soldiers. But
I like the title of the movie, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. That's WTF, right? Like
yeah. The phonetic alphabet, So, yeah, this one looks all right. I think going back to that idea that I'm not going to be able to see as many movies in theater. Like prior to having a family, I probably would have gone and seen this one in theaters, but this one is probably the second it comes out on Redbox, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, I would be surprised if I saw this movie at all. So
really, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those movies.
I can take it or leave it, kind of thing.
Yeah, your life's not over if you don't end up seeing it.
Yeah, it's no Deadpool.
Yeah. And then the following weekend, March 11th, Sacha Baron Cohen has a movie coming out called The Brothers Grimsby, I guess.
So they just change a few letters of the Brothers Grimsley, or
I guess. This one it's a modern film. Like I guess Sacha Baron Cohen's brother, when they're kids, they're both in an adoption agency, and his brother gets adopted and he doesn't. And his brother goes on to become like a super hardcore world spy, and he becomes like a kind of a nobody, like soccer hooligan. And I mean, the previews for it look kind of funny. It's got Rebel Wilson in it. It's got a couple other people.
This is Borat, right?
Yeah, Borat. Yeah.
Where has he been for the last like 5 years?
I'm trying to think of some of the last movies he did. He's made appearances. I think Bruno was the last Bruno
major thing I saw.
One of his last major motion pictures, but I don't know about I just don't know about it. It just doesn't look that that good to me. I'm looking at if you watch the trailer, we'll have links to trailers. I want to add some of the links. We might have it at the end of the episode, but
yeah, you can go watch them go see all the trailers on our. We'll have links to YouTube on our website. So if you want to check it out, go to geekrevolutionradio.com.
He did the last in 2012. He did The Dictator. That movie, meh. This is his first movie since then, where he's the major character, and I'm not interested.
I'm not either.
I feel like his comedy is really particular. He's capable of making me laugh, and the way it's like a 5-minute joke that's stretched over 90 minutes. And
I think of him like a train wreck. Sometimes his movies like Borat and Bruno, I see them because it's a train wreck. I can't help but
it's a train wreck.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to see any of those movies twice, and it kind of sounds like this might be falling into that as well a little bit. So,
yeah. So that same weekend, going back to rating this one in my interest, I'm probably going to see it on TV. Maybe, I'm not going out of my way to see this one. I'm not going to Redbox it.
Yeah, me either. I'm with you on that.
I just really am not interested. The same weekend, 10 Cloverfield Lane comes out. Now, this is probably the movie that weekend that I'm likely going to go see, not Sacha Baron Cohen's film. I'm really excited about this one. This is a movie that I honestly didn't again, kind of like 999. I didn't know it existed until about a week ago.
Nobody knew it existed until a week ago. Yeah. That's what for me makes it so exciting. I love the first movie. I'm all about the the Godzilla monster movies. I love all of those kinds of movies. And when I heard, when I saw the trailer, boom, they just dropped it. And not only that, but it's already made. He was doing this in the middle of Star Wars. I'm this is
very
awesome.
Sneaky. Yeah. No, I'm excited about this one. I think you look back at Cloverfield, and I hear a lot of people didn't like it. The critics didn't like it, but I loved it. I'm with you, man. Those monster movies, this one really, really had me. I would say the only thing I didn't like about it is the fact that it was a found footage style, the shaky cam. And I feel like if filmmakers just need to stop targeting that, feeling like that's the option that's going to put their movie, in a special category, or people are going to be like, oh yeah, I love this, because I would say like 90% of the found footage shaky cam movies just don't do it for me. And you're noticing the more they come out, the less shaky cam they are. Like,
yeah, where they're not, they're just basically poorly shot movies.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this new movie. It's not that style, It's like a regular film, and so they're not necessarily calling it a sequel yet. I mean, it could be. I mean, we obviously know that it's.
I don't know that it is a sequel. I wonder if it's going to be another story taking place at the same time as the other movie. Yeah. This is just in a different location. And for the record, I don't necessarily fall the same place you do on the found footage movies. I think for Cloverfield, that format was perfect, and it worked really well because of a couple reasons. First of all, they released that movie and nobody even had any clue what it was about or that it was a monster movie, because they never showed that at all. That was one of those things where really you didn't find that out until you went and sat in the theater and you were watching it going, what in the heck is going on here? And so for that reason, and that particular style, I think really works well for these types of movies, more so than, just bearing it all and showing the whole creature. I thought it worked really well.
It was definitely like a mystery element to it. You're like, what is the deal? Is it like a big monster? Like, what is it? Very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, I think some of the movies that are shot that way have become a little bit of a gimmick. But some of the like original movies that were shot that way, when it was first starting out, were really good. We talked Blair Witch Project. I kind of liked, and
right.
I really liked the first Paranormal Activity. The first one of that was awesome.
I feel like these movies you're mentioning are all like the trailblazers, whereas in everything from then is, just like kind of like trying to ride the tails.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not really sure when Cloverfield came out, but it feels to me like it was kind of in that same era, at least, as maybe not as Blair Witch Project, but definitely the same as Paranormal Activity.
2007. Yeah, 2008 is when the first movie came out. And what's interesting about this new movie is, like, we don't know, like, just watching the trailer, you like, it's taking place in a bunker, and like the only cast members attributed or like put on the list on IMDb are 3 people. So this could be a really interesting kind of psychological film. I mean, obviously the trailer makes it look that way. Yeah, but I'm a really big fan of Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Me too. We know
her from Scott Pilgrim.
And she's been in a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff lately. Like, she's getting a lot of Oscar buzz for the movie Room that she did.
Yeah.
But to me, she'll always be the chick from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah,
she always will be.
I love that movie so much, and
me too.
Her character will always have a special place in my heart, as well as John Goodman. John Goodman's also in this film, and he's awesome, dude. I think ever since what's the movie with the dude?
The Big Lebowski, right?
The Big Lebowski, yeah. Like, dude, his character in that movie is so iconic to me. Like, that's when I think of John Goodman, I think of his character in that movie.
I think of Sully from Monsters, and this is, I guess, one case where him doing that voice worked really well, because I didn't think of John Goodman, but ironically now when I see John Goodman, I think of Sully. So there's definitely some wires being crossed somewhere.
So yeah, this movie is definitely on my gonna see in theaters list. I don't know when I'll be able to, like, if it's gonna be opening weekend, and because it might fit into that kind of scary movie, horror type movie, I might end up having to see this one alone. Like, I'm going to have my wife watch the first one. She hasn't watched the first one yet. If she can make it through the first one, I think she could probably make it through this one.
I don't know that I'd call this a horror movie, or even really a scary movie.
It might be like a suspenseful.
It's suspenseful, thriller. A little bit of a thriller, but mostly action, probably.
Yeah.
Not like guns and probably explosions, but
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, going to be a good film, and I'm gonna go see it in the theaters. I'm gonna make a really hard effort to go see it.
Yeah,
anyway.
J.J. Abrams is he's on the Star Wars team now, so probably to support him, I'll probably go see this opening weekend just because I really liked the first movie and I really like him.
Yeah.
And it's I'm really curious because this was obviously made mid Star Wars. Like it started making this movie after Star Wars started shooting, and they finished it before Star Wars wrapped. So it's really crazy to me that somehow where did he find the time?
Under the radar.
Yeah, where did he find the time? But it was the perfect, just like the first movie, it's the perfect fail. They're like, they would never think, oh, by the way, while J.J. Abrams is making this, most important movie of this century, he's also, making a sequel to Cloverfield. Nobody saw this coming until the trailer dropped,
That's why I like J.J. Abrams. I feel like he's produced this movie. He's not directing it, but this is just one of those movies that it's like, he's so under the radar about it, and so like kind of like they give it like a secret name so nobody knows what it's about.
Yeah,
like that's
the thing is like I wonder with this, like, did John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, did they know they were making a Cloverfield film? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
they could have very easily not told them this was a Cloverfield film.
She had mentioned that she was in a movie that was called something else that basically describes the same movie, and she might not have known that it was a Cloverfield. So related.
She when she saw the trailer come out, she was like, "What is this?" And then she saw herself. She's like, "No, I'm really confused." I'm gonna go with that. I like the idea that the people in the movie didn't know they were making a Cloverfield,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Like, oh yeah, I don't even know what this movie's about. I just know I'm, the main character, and we're in a room. Like the movie's just filmed in one room.
Even if it's not the truth, we should start that rumor. Be like, oh yeah, the people that are in the movie, they didn't even know
they didn't even know
they were making a Cloverfield film movie. That's how much of a sorcerer J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot are. Like that's the rumor now. I'm just gonna start saying that, even though it may not be true.
Totally gonna see this one in theaters. The next movie, which comes out the weekend after it on the 18th, the Allegiant series, or the Divergent series, Allegiant.
I have no idea which way it is either. I'm not following this at all.
Well, I got suckered into watching the first one on HBO. It was on. I kind of watched it and didn't think it was that bad. I had no interest to see it when it came out in theaters. And so after watching the first one, my wife watched it, and we were like, you know what? I think at the time when the second movie came out, we, didn't have anything going on. So we ended up seeing the second one in theaters.
Wait, this is the third one?
This is the third one.
Oh, yeah. I thought this was the second one.
No, this is the third one. The second one really wasn't that bad. And so I honestly will admit, the first two films I've seen, and I didn't hate them. I would say like they're somewhere in the middle, like just slightly above, in the middle of the road. Like I liked them, but they weren't great. I'm not like a super fan. I don't think there are super fans of this movie. Like I think with like Hunger Games and with Twilight, they're super fans.
They've tried to make this like that. I would say the same with Maze Runner, but it doesn't feel like there's much out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know anybody that's like really into these movies. And for me, I've almost gone out of my way, it feels like, not to see these movies because I cannot stand Shailene Woodley. I don't like her.
I didn't like The Fault in Our Stars. That I really didn't care much for that movie.
I guess I didn't mind her in that. I did see that movie like not even that long ago. I didn't mind her in that movie. For me, Shailene Woodley is the chick from this TV show my little sisters used to watch called The Secret Life of the American Teenager. It is the most perverse TV show made for teenagers I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
really?
Like everybody's pregnant. And there's like all this like, it makes Teen Mom look like wholesome TV. I mean,
that's funny.
And it's not even based on like, it's not based on real life. Obviously it's a scripted show, which makes it even worse in my opinion. But ever since, I couldn't stand when my sisters were watching that show, 'cause I was thinking like, wow, this is this is not setting a good example at all.
Yeah.
And not that I like think I'm a great example, but it's just like, it was very, if I was uncomfortable sitting there while my sisters and my mom were watching it, like, yeah, I'm definitely like, I'm not on board with her or anything she's done since then. So.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. This movie to me, I'm ready to even stop talking about it because I'm that disinterested in it. Like I just, whatever. If it's on HBO, I'll see it, and that's the end of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way. And the last movie to talk about, this is going to be the last movie we talk about on the 25th of March, Batman versus Superman.
The wait is over.
Oh my goodness. It dawned on me when I started prepping for the show. I was like, dude, that movie's only 2 months away.
I had no idea it was coming out this early. I thought once I saw it on your list here, I was like, oh, I guess this is why he wanted to do through March, was so that we could talk about this. But if that's a coincidence, that's hilarious.
Well, I think they're going for an early release on this one. Movies have the blockbuster movies have slowly been edging closer and closer. Like May was usually the first month you saw blockbusters. Now we're starting to see some of them in April, and this is the very end of March. We're starting to see this.
Which I'm all right. I mean, we're getting to the point now where the entire year is going to be a blockbuster, which I'm okay with.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the reality of it. I mean, yeah, you look at summer blockbusters, like summer is a special time, and I think it's because kids are out of school, but that's not the largest demographic. Like that's probably a quarter of moviegoers, I would say.
So, okay. So we've all seen the trailer for this. It looks amazing. Let me ask you this. Where do you fall with Ben Affleck as Batman?
So far, I think the trailers have portrayed a likable Batman. He's not George Clooney with like nipples coming out of his costume,
Yeah.
So I think so far he looks all right. Like I like Ben Affleck. I
do too.
I think he looks like a very angry. Like the representation in the trailers make him look like a very angry Batman, which is something I'm not used to.
I'm all about it. I don't know if you've read Batman Earth 1, but I'm all about that Batman. That Batman's in my wheelhouse. That's the only Batman Earth 1 is one of the few DC comics I've read that I actually liked. And
I'll have to go check it out.
I'm all about Ben Affleck as Batman. I haven't even seen this movie, but from the second they announced it and then they released that picture, that black and white picture of him in the suit, the gray suit. Yeah. Oh man, I was just like, yeah, this is perfect. And I think for me, I probably would not have seen this movie opening weekend if not for him as Batman, because like we've discussed on this show, I'm not that big of a Superman fan, and I honestly did not like Henry Cavill that much. I find the villains in the DC universe far more interesting than the heroes. So, to have a movie like this where it's hero versus hero, like I almost wonder, do you think that Harley Quinn and Joker might make a quick appearance in this movie leading into Suicide Squad?
I honestly don't know, because I know they're really trying to do this tie-in. They're really DC is slow to the game in terms of like
they're doing phase one of the Avengers right now, basically, right?
Right. And this is, the title of the film is Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. Yeah. So they're obviously leading into Justice League. You look at the cast, we've got a number of people in it that are part of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Like I'm really excited about Jason Momoa, who's I don't like, all I know is he's the Dothraki king from Game of Thrones. I don't remember what his
Khaleesi's
character's
husband
name.
That died. Yeah, he was great.
The dead guy,
Yeah.
He's in it as Aquaman, which that alone, like Aquaman has been such a cheesy character, and granted, I think Robot Chicken paints him in a bad light.
I think the best Aquaman stuff out there is from Entourage. Have you seen Entourage? When they did the Entourage movie, they released a trailer for the movie, and they did it like they had shot an Aquaman movie, but it was for the Entourage movie. And then it wasn't only maybe a couple of months after that that DC was like, no, actually, we are going to be making a real Aquaman movie, and Aquaman's going to be in Batman versus Superman. Oh, and by the way, here's who we got as Aquaman. And then everyone was like, oh, this is going to be great.
Man. Dude, seriously, I want like a hardened, super badass Aquaman. Like that's what I need. I need that. I think it's going to be great.
The thing that's interesting about this movie, Will, is that from the trailers, they seem to be painting Superman as the villain in the movie to me.
Well, it's interesting, and that's the thing about trailers, and I've noticed that, like, especially with the Captain America Civil War trailer, I think they're misleading you to believe that what you see in the trailer is what the movie's really about, when I feel like when you actually go watch the movie, that might only be a certain aspect of it.
Well, I feel like they wouldn't call it Batman versus Superman if there wasn't going to be some confrontation.
Well, yeah, and honestly, I didn't even know. Like, this is what's great. I guess it's revealing about trailers today is they sometimes reveal too much. Like I remember talking about Iron Man 3 and feeling like I'd seen most of the movie in the trailer. This one, I don't know how I feel about the fact that they showed Doomsday in the trailer.
Yeah,
but I didn't know. I honestly had no idea they were going down that road.
That would have been a good thing to hide, kind of like the Zod, or not the Zod. Who was the guy in the second Star Trek movie that they hid?
Khan.
Khan. They hid the fact that he was playing Khan. I wish they would never have shown Doomsday. Although the scene that they did show Doomsday in made me real excited for Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She's perfect. She's it. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't mention it at the beginning of the show, but the CW released some footage from her movie, and I'm really excited about that one. Like
from the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I
definitely got to go check that out. Yeah, we've got it posted on our Facebook page. Definitely excited about Wonder Woman. It's a character that like is kind of campy and less admirable in shows and comics from the past, but I think they've done a really good job just in the teaser, and you'll be excited to see in the little teaser that Kevin Smith is the one releasing, or like he's it's like a featurette.
Oh, okay.
It's like not a trailer, and he's in part of the featurette, like interviewing one of the filmmakers.
Kevin Smith is so against making movies not written by him. Since Cop Out, he basically said he wouldn't do it. But he's been floating so close to this. He's been floating so close to Batman. He's been floating so close to Star Wars. I wish Kevin Smith would just make one of these movies, whether it's a standalone Star Wars, whether it's one of the DC franchise films. I think that now that Ben Affleck is Batman, and they're making a standalone Batman film, I don't feel like there's anybody better in the world to write and maybe even direct that movie than Kevin Smith, because I love Kevin Smith's Batman comics and his Green Lantern comics and all the stuff he's written for DC. I really liked. So
did you ever see that documentary about the Superman movie that never got made?
No.
So he actually wrote the screenplay for it.
I think this is familiar. I think I remember him talking about this on a show.
Yeah, he wrote the screenplay, and Nicolas Cage was casted as Superman.
I saw the picture of Nick Cage recently. What's his name? And it was not good.
The guy that directed Tim Burton. Tim Burton was set to direct it, and they got like maybe halfway through the pre-production, and it just fell apart.
Oh wow!
Like this movie is like all about that portion of pre-production, like how it started and how it fell apart. Like,
so maybe Kevin Smith got burned, from that experience or something.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well be.
I wish he would give it another shot, because I know he's really good at writing dialogue for Ben Affleck, and I know he can write a good Batman movie. So
here's the thing. Going back to Doomsday, I wasn't so excited I was really excited that he was in the trailer. Kind of didn't like that they showed him, it's like kind of, showing your cards, so to speak. But the reality is, I love the Doomsday story.
Yeah.
Like that was like probably one of the very first comics I read was Superman lives.
The death of Superman, right? Was
the death
the
of
whole
Superman.
Doomsday thing.
Right.
Yeah, I've got the trade paperback in my bathroom. I read it somewhat regularly.
Yeah, I love this story. And when I'm reading up on it, like I read kind of a synopsis from when the writers got together, and they basically said, all right, we need to come up with a villain that is just as powerful as Superman, who can take him. And they basically said, how do we want to open this up? And they basically said, I want to see Metropolis in ashes, like in smoke plumes all over the place, devastation everywhere. And you just see like a cityscape of the entire city, and it just looks like it's completely destroyed. And that's their basis for Doomsday. And it's like this monster that just destroys. He's just all energy. And he's basically, depending on what you read, the origin story of Doomsday, like in this story, it looks like what's his name? Jesse Eisenberg's character, the villain.
Don't even get me started. We're gonna get. If you want to go there, we can go there. Real quick. That is the one part of the trailer. Luthor. That's the one part of the trailer. Is Jesse Eisenberg going to be the Jar Jar Binks of this movie? It feels like he is.
Lex Luthor, he's kind of campy in it. He really is. He seems kind of campy.
But not the right kind of campy.
Right.
Like there's good campy. There's Robert Downey Jr. campy. And then there's whatever this was in the trailer. I mean, I remember when they were talking about casting and Bryan Cranston's name was getting thrown around. That I could see. I could see him as an older version of Lex Luthor. I could see that.
I wanted a dark, edgy, brilliant criminal.
Heisenberg. And we want Heisenberg.
Yeah, we want Heisenberg because I remember we talked about it before. You know, the great thing about The Dark Knight was you had a villain that was so dark and edgy and well acted that it was like his character is like whatever the opposite of campy is.
Yeah,
like it's perfect. And I was thinking to myself, if they really want to do a good movie, they need to cast somebody that's not and write it so that it's not campy. And I think you might be right. It'll depend. Going into the movies,
we can. Here's where I fall. You can mark my words now. Could end up that I'm going to be very wrong. I suspect that Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor will not only be the worst part of this movie, but will put a little bit of a damper in the movie to the point where he will not play Lex Luthor in another DC movie. That's
very interesting.
That's my thought. My thought, this is the one and only time, like Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, he might make a short appearance in the next movie, but he's going to have no dialogue. I don't think we'll ever see Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor again. We'll see what happens. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I am wrong, but.
Well, and that's the thing. I like Jesse Eisenberg.
So do I.
Like, I think he was really good in Social Network.
I really liked him in Social Network.
I think he's a capable actor. It just depends on how they've written him.
This doesn't seem to me like the right kind of gig for him.
No, like when they casted him, I just didn't see it, and I still don't see it. Like when you were talking about Ben Affleck playing Batman and like how I felt about it at the beginning when we started talking about it, this is the opposite. Like I'm not sold on him as like I'd rather see Kevin Spacey. You know, like that movie wasn't that great, but
he was good as Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
absolutely. So my question is was Matt Damon busy? Like what? First of all, how did he not make it anywhere into this movie as anything?
That's funny.
Lex Luthor for Matt Damon. Where do you?
That could have been an interesting.
It feels to me like Matt Damon playing Lex Luthor wouldn't be too different than Jesse Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor. Honestly, that's just how I feel. Like when I saw the trailer, like everything was going great in the trailer until they showed that scene with them at the art gallery, and then I was just like, oh,
yeah, that was a little cheesy.
The wheels have come off the
I
bus.
will admit though, like in the teaser that came out like 6 months ago, like he did some voice work. I guess there's like a Senate hearing, and he's like talking to senators, and he's like talking about like gods and men and evil, and like to me that sounded like it was more believable and sellable than this kind of like moment in the trailer, this latest trailer where he like flicks Lois Lane on the head, something when she calls him a psychopath.
Yeah, I don't know.
That it didn't sell it to me. You know, I'm not sold. So
I would love to see
right about it, but I'm still optimistic in his character just because he's such a good actor.
I would love to see Harley Quinn and Joker make an appearance at the end of this movie. Like after the Doomsday dust is settled.
Cameo, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like after the Doomsday dust is settled, I would like to see this as a lead-in to Suicide Squad, and we cannot wrap up this show without talking about Suicide Squad. Because
I added it to the show notes because I wanted to talk about it at the very beginning, but I'm glad you brought it up because
that trailer that dropped this last week, I think I am as excited, I would say, for Suicide Squad as I am for the Star Wars Rogue One, to be quite honest with you.
Wow.
I'm as excited.
Putting it at a very, that's putting it in context.
After seeing the trailer and seeing the styling of the film, how it looks, how it feels, it has kind of that neon look to it. And the casting, they have knocked completely out of the park. Ironically, it's really weird. The guy that played Bane is playing another villain in the DC universe in a Batman movie. And I think he's wearing the same jacket as he wore when he played Bane. It looks like it, at least. So I thought that was really interesting, but I cannot be more on board with her as Harley Quinn, honestly. I'm so excited.
I honestly, I wasn't super excited about this movie. When I heard about it, I'm like, oh, it could be an interesting movie. Ben Affleck is in Suicide Squad, so he makes an appearance in this movie.
I know, and the only reason I know that he makes an appearance in Suicide Squad as Batman is because I saw on Facebook, this was probably 3 or 4 months ago, there were people that were on the side of the street while they were shooting this scene of Suicide Squad
that saw him, right?
And it was it was that, Ferrari or whatever it is that Joker and Harley Quinn are riding in, and Batman's like on the roof of it. And, they were just shooting it with their iPhone, but I was like, that was the first time I was like, I had no idea Batman was going to be in this film. That's such a good idea.
You were saying something about Bane. I don't like Tom Hardy's not casted in this movie.
Is it not Tom Hardy?
No, I think you might be thinking like
he looks an awful lot.
I don't know who you're thinking of, but it's got the one guy that was Bruce Willis's son in A Good Day to Die Hard.
I honestly thought Tom Hardy was in this film, and I thought I even saw him in the trailer, and I was like, wow, okay.
His name was thrown around at the beginning. I remember they said like he was initially casted, but then got like switched out with somebody else.
I stand corrected. I apologize.
It actually also has Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son in it.
Will Smith is playing a supporting role in this movie. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, Scott Eastwood was actually one of the names that was getting thrown around for Han Solo.
Oh, really?
In the remakes or in the anthology, whatever.
Right.
No, dude, but seriously, this movie, I'm ready for it. Like, I wish we're going to go into it in more detail, probably next movie review that we do.
Yeah, about 3 months from now.
Yeah, 3 months from now, when we hit the end of March, beginning of April, we'll do a movie review then, because this one just looks awesome.
I'm so, I loved the Dark Knight Joker. We talked about this a little bit last week or the week before, and I got to tell you, Will, I think I'm ready for another Joker.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And the reason that I am ready specifically is probably because they picked Jared Leto. He's exactly the right guy. I can't think of anyone else in Hollywood more than Heath Ledger. I don't even know if I want to see Jared Leto as the Joker more than Heath Ledger, but in a sans no more Heath Ledger world, the only other person that I can think of in the top of my head that could pull off the Joker is Jared Leto.
Well, it's interesting to me because, you know, I from here on out, just knowing that when people heard that Heath Ledger was going to be cast as the Joker and got all upset and said, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe they cast that." And it was the same way with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
When I heard that they casted Jared Leto, I'm not opposed to Jared Leto. I'm not like a super fan. I think he's really good in movies that he's done. But I'm not.
And I was on the other side of Heath Ledger as the Joker, and this is how I was on the other side. I never heard that he was going to be casted as the Joker. It just wasn't on my radar. Batman Begins wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even see that until I didn't see that until well after it was on DVD. You know what I mean?
Right.
And once I saw the trailer for The Dark Knight, and I was like, wow, this Joker, who is this guy? He looks so good. And then it's like, it's Heath Ledger. And I'm like, he doesn't look like Heath Ledger.
No, I had to watch the movie like 3 or 4 times to finally see Heath Ledger.
I still don't. When I watch that movie, I watch that movie still a couple of times a year. And I still, for me, I don't see it. I mean, he still doesn't look, sometimes when I'm watching it, I try to be like, okay, does this look like Heath Ledger? But he did such a good job of transforming that he's like, the Joker is the Joker. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm excited for Jared Leto is they went really extreme on the makeup again with Jared Leto to the point where he doesn't look really like pretty boy Jared Leto.
No, and I think he looks like a different take of the Joker. So the Joker, like Heath Ledger's Joker was very edgy, very kind of messy. This one looks more like it's kind of
psychopathic,
like psychopath, goofy, kind of like something that we've seen from the video games and comic books, you know, like a very, very like wild Mad Hatter style Joker, you know,
that's honestly how he's usually portrayed in comics, you know.
At
least the ones I haven't read a ton. I haven't read a ton of DC comics, but you know, from you know, some of the, you know, like stuff that Batman Year One, you know, I've read a couple of Joker stuff, and for what I've read in there, you know, that's to me what the Joker comes off as.
You know, and I think it's the problem that the Batman movies had in the 90s where they tried to be, you know, the balance between being authentic and real in our world versus this extravagant, crazy, over the top characters.
Yeah.
You know, and they just got more and more campy to the point where we have like Dr. Freeze by Arnold Schwarzenegger, just like this really ridiculous character. And so I
don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even care. And this might be a sin to a lot of our listeners' ears, what I'm about to say, but I don't particularly care or think about Jack Nicholson as the Joker anymore. For me,
well, honestly, to me, I'm probably in the same boat just because that movie came out when I was like 8 when that movie came out.
6
so I didn't
or 4.
I didn't see it. It wasn't like, I don't remember watching that one until I was probably in my teens.
Yeah.
And by then, like, I wasn't like sold on it. I remember the second
I remember watching it growing up, but at the time it was all we had, you know, like if you're gonna juxtapose that to, you know, the Adam West thing, they're two totally different types of characters, you know what I mean? And I liked Adam West's Batman. I watched that all the time when I was a kid, you know, and I liked the Joker in that, you know, he was great too, but for me, you know, everyone always touts about how great Jack Nicholson was as the Joker, and I'm not on that train personally.
No, I'm not either. And I look at that and I say, you know, Heath Ledger's obviously the best.
Especially after what Heath Ledger did. I mean, right now Heath Ledger is the greatest Joker that we've ever had.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be a really good movie, and I think I'm with you. I'm really excited to see Jared Leto and see how well he does. Unfortunately, we have to wait till August.
Oh, I know. I thought it was coming out sooner than that, and then when I saw in the trailer it's like August, I was like, oh, I can't even wait that long. All right, well let's go ahead and wrap up the show. One thing that I wanted to mention on this show, for those of you that haven't heard, they did delay Star Wars Episode 8. It was originally going to be coming out in May of 2017. It's been pushed back to December 17th of 2017. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit.
I'm not too troubled by this. Yeah, it sucks that we have to wait 7 months, but the reality is I totally love the holiday Christmas connection.
You said it perfectly, Will. I mean, all the other Star Wars movies have always they all came out around May 19th. That's just what they did. This is the first. Ironically, Star Wars has always been kind of Christmassy. I associate it somewhat loosely with Christmas, probably because I watch it a lot during the holidays. Maybe that's why it is. For me, when they announced this was coming out on Christmas, I was okay with it. And then when I saw Episode 7, it's the perfect place for it. So the fact that they've pushed Episode 8 back to Christmas, Rogue One coming out this year is going to be Christmas. I'm fine with it. It sucks that we have to wait, like you said, but I'm all about Star Wars at Christmas time now.
No, and I'm with you. I mean, one of my favorite holiday memories is watching all 6 movies as a marathon with my brothers, like during the holidays. And so,
yeah, me and my brother would do that too.
Star Wars and Christmas kind of go hand in hand.
You know what? It just occurred to me why I might associate Star Wars with Christmas. I got a heck of a lot of Star Wars toys for Christmas growing up.
Yeah.
Like action figures, video games, like that was me and my brother. It was like our living room was the planet of Hoth one Christmas. I mean, there was Star Wars guys laying all over the place. You know what I mean?
The funny thing is, it's funny that you mentioned that because on the news today, we did a little report saying that their estimated $700 million were spent on Star Wars toys this past holiday between September and Christmas. There's about $700 million, which is almost as much as that's been spent on the movie.
That's what's ironic is like they spent that much money on toys, which you would assume is going to be way higher, but the movie made that much and a little bit more in the box office just for North America.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's a great statistic.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to me, but I mean, tons of people were getting Star Wars toys for Christmas, including my daughter. So
which movie, if you had to pick a couple, 3 movies you're most looking forward to, what are they?
So I'm going to go in order. 999 is probably my number 4. 10 Cloverfield Lane, Deadpool, and then Superman.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm a little bit more excited to see Deadpool than Superman versus Batman. But that. My top 3 is exactly the same. So
I think for the start of the year, the fact that we've got some really good movies to watch, that's not always been the case. Sometimes we get into like January, February, or March, and we've just got like just mediocre films.
Yeah,
I feel like we've got some good movies coming out.
I'm with you, man. I mean, I really I like that there's a lot of blockbusters, and I like that they're spreading them out because it gets to be a little bit of a chore when like you're at the theater every weekend during the summer. You know?
I mean,
like by August, I'm usually a little burned out.
I think movie producers and movie studios are starting to take note, seeing that Star Wars could be super popular in wintertime when like wintertime used to be like the dead zone for movies.
Yeah, and even then January still is a little bit the place where movies go to die, but I think so far this year, the box office has been off to a great start in January.
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of that, like I did a movie review of The Revenant. You can probably check that out on YouTube.
A January released movie.
Yeah. Well, it came out like I think nationally it came out in January, but they released it in December.
Well, yeah, it didn't have a wide release. It only came out in a couple places and then to December. Though it was a wide release in January.
I'm honestly surprised that it's blowing up so big. Definitely check out my review. I go into the things I liked and didn't like about it. So
he did. Yeah, so Will did a movie review for this. You can check it out on our website, geekrevolutionradio.com, or you can go to our. We have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/geekrevolutionradio. We have, if you prefer to listen to this show on YouTube, I put all the episodes up on there as well, and then just run our logo as the video. So if you want to listen to the show there, you can head over to our YouTube channel and listen to. I think I've got the last basically since we came back this last year. I've got all those episodes on there, and I'm going to keep posting them on there. So thanks everybody for listening. This was really fun. I really like that we get together to do this. And
well, I'm excited just because I love movies.
Yeah.
Like I probably was working on the show notes for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we've got some good shows planned in the future, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come. As always, you guys can interact with the show. Let us know what you're excited to see. Go to facebook.com/Geek Revolution Radio. We're always posting kind of cool stuff we find or news, and having some, we've actually had a lot of interaction on there lately, which has been really nice. We're able to kind of put some names and faces to the to the download numbers. We have some idea of, these are the people that are listening to our show. And you can also
fans,
you can always make suggestions on there if there's something you think that we should talk about, or maybe an old movie you want us to review. We're always down for ideas and suggestions. So
and I like that you mentioned old movies, because next week we're going to do I think we're going to start a series from time to time, just because all our favorite movies. Next week we're going to do The Matrix. So This is probably one of my most influential teenage movies that I saw when I was a teenager. That
I'm excited.
That set the tone for years to come in terms of sci-fi.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if you didn't hear the show last week, we did a pretty good episode on true crime. We talked at pretty good length about Making a Murderer. We also, in the show, had an interview with basically a defense attorney that we'll talk to about kind of his take on the whole thing. And I thought the interview turned out really great, by the way, Will. Thanks for
I was really pleased with the interview. Really enjoyed the show. I always like going back and listening to our shows and hearing what we talk about, because it's just I get animated about it when listening to it too. It's like, man, I can't believe I talked about that.
What's funny is when I'm listening to our episodes, my thought process when we're talking follows the same way. I can usually repeat my thought about what I'm about to say, and that's usually what I'm about to say. It's really funny that way. So you can check me out on the Other Mike and Mike show. I'm going to be on there this week, probably a couple of days after this episode posts. You'll be able to find it. So go to theothermikes.com. We're going to be talking more about Making a Murderer over there, and I'm sure those guys will be giving more of a funny, fun spin to the drama of it all. So
I'm sure it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I really like those guys over there at theothermikes.com. So in the meantime, I'm Ryan.
I'm Will.
Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you always. GeekRevolutionRadio.com.
You've been listening to Geek Revolution Radio, hosted by William Hatton and Ryan Bennett. For more information about Geek Revolution Radio, go to geekrevolutionradio.com. Feel free to interact with the show at facebook.com/geekrevolutionradio. The intro song is called What You Want. The credit song is Riptide. Both are composed by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons. The views and opinions expressed on Geek Revolution Radio are those of the panelists and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of our sponsors. Thank you for listening.